Hello, this is Mr. Bus, and in this video, I will walk you through the 7D Get a Grip activity. And so this video will just kind of me showing how to run it. I'm actually so part one is gonna be more focused on dexterity. So the reason we're doing this activity is to kind of think about, you know, traits of humans. You know, obviously there's various traits of humans like, you know, we have a complex brain, we've developed language, culture, and also the ability to kind of like manipulate our environment and do various things like with our dexterity. And so we're talking about, like in this lab, just opposable thumbs, meaning, you know, like my fingers move one direction, but my thumb can oppose their movement and move in the opposite direction. That's just what it means to have an opposable thumb. And so for part one, you're gonna work with dexterity. So you're gonna come up with a list of, like, I think at home you should be able to totally do this. Just kind of find some things that you can manipulate. So for instance here, like if this is what I had to work with, I'd say like step one, open a container, and I'd write step one down. Step two, and I've already put some stuff in there. Step two, dump out the key in the lock. Step three, pick up the key. Step four, unlock the lock. Step five, lock it again. Step six, put the lock and the key back in the container. Just some ideas. Step seven, pick up something with the tweezers. Step eight, cut a square out of a piece of paper. You know, so really simple stuff. Try to come up with like up to like 7, 8, 9, or 10 steps. Write them down, and then you're going to do those as fast as possible, 3 times. So it should be pretty quick. Like this setup would only take like 20 or 30 seconds, right? But then you run them all again without the use of your thumbs. So you'd run it all again, and then just be like, okay, step one, open the container, but I can't use my thumbs at all. Step two, dump out the contents of the container. Step three, pick up the key, and so on. So you can't use your thumbs. Step four, unlock the lock. Right, so you're gonna do this same set of steps, not using your thumb at all. Step five, close the lock, and so on. Put the lock back. So you can see how that would obviously slow things down a little bit. So that's the idea. So that's part one, just coming up with a set of simple steps with just stuff you have at home. If you have scissors and paper, whatever, right? I did a lock and a key. Other stuff that you think might take a little bit of dexterity. Okay, so that's part one. Running that, timing it, and so on. And then part two and three both use the sensor. So basically I'm gonna have to collect data at school here, and then I'll include the data file so that you can send the data to the app called the Vernier Graphical Analysis GW app. And so I'll have a second video just kind of showing again, since it's been a while since we used those, that app and these devices. But I will go ahead and show you how I'm going to collect this. So I'm going to, this is a grip sensor. So like this would be, I'll show on the readout here. The readout's in newtons. I'll leave it at newtons. I'll 0 it. Okay. So if I put, if you can see that there, if I put some pressure between here, this would be a pinch grip. I'll move this here. And then the lab's going to be done mostly with a kind of a power grip, various amounts of pressure on this thing. All right. And so part one, I'm going to set this just for 10 seconds. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and, oops, I should probably set it when I'm not holding there. 0. And then I'm going to go to the graph portion here, and I'll go ahead and I'll hit play, and then I'll put pressure in here. All right. I'll hit stop. Oh, it stopped on its own. So that run one is my right hand, and then save that file, and then go to run two, and then hit play. go. And then I will have this data then for you to look at, and then I'll save it on here actually so I don't lose it. And then I'm going to set this up to run a new experiment for part 3, where I'm going to run it for a longer period of time, 100 seconds. Part 1 was which hand is stronger, and does it have any effect on handedness? So for me, I'm right-handed, and so probably my right hand is going to be have more strength than my left hand. And then for this next part, I'll just use my right hand, and it's going to be the effect of force applied over time, okay, and how it might change over the 100 seconds. So I'll hit play, and then I'll record data for 100 seconds. Oh, okay, 100 seconds. Thank goodness. That was painful. Okay, so again, you'll have access to this data as a file. And so I'll go ahead and stop the video here, and then I'll make another video kind of just showing again how to use that graphical analysis app. Okay, so I'm going to open up the graphical analysis app. Here, if I select like new experiment, I'm able to connect to the device. But you'll just, from Schoology, you'll just send the data to this app. I'm going to actually scan the device here. Okay. If it doesn't show up for you, you might have to click the data. All right. So there's that. And then, so this is the part 3. It shows the force over time. And just to kind of show you how to get data from this is if you select an area, all right, you can then select the button in the bottom left and do things like apply curve fit if you need the slope, or view statistics if you need the mean or the max of a data set. If I was going to get the max, of course, I'd want to include that portion as well. So that's kind of how to work with this app. It's pretty slick, pretty straightforward. So hopefully you're able to send the data sets to your iPad. I know you're not able to do these collect the data at home, but at least you can work with the data, and you kind of saw in the first part of the video how I achieved getting this. One of the questions is, why do you think, why is there a decline in the force over time when I'm trying to do a max effort? Because I really honestly was. It was started out, you know, near my max, and then it just kept declining over time there. You know, think about cellular energetics. Think about things like ATP and glucose and what happens in the mitochondria, electron transport, all that stuff. Just kind of speak a little bit to, you know, the ATP supply and what your body is trying to do to replenish that and so on. I'll just show briefly at the end of the video here. Here's the data I collected for part 2, which would be right hand versus left hand strength. Again, if you don't see both of the lines at the same time, you just select this y-axis and you can toggle. Remember, run 1 would have been my right hand and run 2 would have been my left hand. And it should color code it there, so you can kind of see the difference. And then if you're going to select like an area for like max or a min or whatever, you don't have to view them both at the same time, but you can, right? So, and you can do that, and then you can use the statistics button here, view statistics, or if you want to curve fit or anything like that. But I think for this part, you just need the max and the min. So